Howard, can I just pick you up on what you were saying a moment ago about zero-based budgeting?
Yeah,
That's a whole concept which has a history going back, what, 40 years or so.
that's probably when I first came across it. Yes.
Yeah, it's come into favour and out again.
Yeah.
How do you see that working?
Practically, it's the basis of you start from scratch and saying, what do we need? Assuming we were starting from scratch as a new law firm now, what overheads in particular do we need? What staff do we need? And build it up from assuming you've got nothing. What would you need in a firm of our type if you start from nothing now?
Because my experience of doing that is you always end up needing a lot less than if you'd started from the existing position and start to trim a bit here and a bit there.
And that's exactly the reason why, as you raised the question, exactly the reason why you do that, because that's when you prove to yourself the excesses you've got. Because traditional budgeting, and it's you look at what you spent last year and add a bit. For the larger concerns, there's that assumption we must have needed what we had last year, so we don't look harshly at the overheads.
Yeah, and I think a lot of businesses, and certainly from the work I do outside of the legal sector, I was in a very interesting meeting of some chief execs from Zoom the other day. Everyone is saying this is an opportunity to look at the organization. Yeah, you can keep your long-term vision and values in terms of where do we want to be in 5 years' time, but how we get there may well change, and what we need to do it may well change.
Do you think the focus on overheads, Howard, will lead to people looking more at outsourcing parts of their business, and particularly in the medium-sized sector, where there's always a tendency in law firms to have the not invented here approach, and I'm just wondering whether the idea of outsourcing, basically, when you say non-core activities in law firms, what you actually mean is things we don't really want to do if we could avoid it.
Yeah,
whether it be.
It's difficult, isn't it? The part of me says outsourcing, except in certain areas, has had its day. So outsourcing reception, for example, I don't think necessarily works. Outsourcing back office probably doesn't, although there are the likes of the cash room that are very good at doing that. So I think there's still some potential there. Outsourcing typing, secretarial services. I think the concern is the lack of control and alignment with the values of the firm if you outsource. And if anything, my feel is it's coming full circle and saying, let's not outsource, let's bring it back in. But I don't know what others are thinking.
I'm not sure I fully agree with you on that, Howard. I think it really depends on the type of firm you are and what it is you're offering your clients. It also depends where you're based. So yeah, if you're based in the City of London and office space is absolutely, well, was, maybe not anymore, and staff are really expensive, suddenly outsourcing makes sense from a purely commercial viewpoint, or if we outsource an awful lot because we're pretty much a virtual law firm. So our view is we don't want to do anything in-house that we, other than advise clients. Everything else can be outsourced. And I think, in terms of reception, people like Moneypenny do a really very good job in terms of mimicking the reception, but actually probably doing it better than you. And you have the advantages of you don't have to worry about your one receptionist going on holiday or being sick, because they've got a whole system that's dedicated to it. But I think the answer with outsourcing is, what are you outsourcing and is it strategic? So just bottom-up budgeting where is an interesting opportunity to say, well, what is it that we absolutely need to do that's core to our business? And then what surrounds that, is it better to get someone else to do it, or can we do it effectively ourselves?
I remember a discussion now almost 20 years ago with the chief executive of what's now a top 30 or so firm, and at that time they just outsourced their IT operations, and I remember his comment, which was, we've always been fairly good at IT, and we've always been very good at what our IT manager at the time was good at. But now that we've outsourced it, what we've discovered is we can be good at everything, because our outsourcer can apply different people to different problems, and that has worked with them. And I've been fairly close to that outsourcing company, as I say, now for 20 years, and I just wonder whether there's a question of the quality of it. I know when it came round to topping up the dictation and secretarial pools, I've always looked at it as being a client service issue. That if you outsource the excess workload, you get it back on fee earners' desks at 9:30 the following morning, irrespective of how many people you employ.
Don't necessarily have an understanding, though, of the clients, the client names, the nuances, the nature.
Transcription, Howard.
Sorry?
It's just transcription.
I'm not so sure it is.
If it's garbage in, it'll be garbage out. If it's good stuff that goes in, it should be good stuff that comes out.
Things like names, for example, and locations and addresses.
But that's the fee earner's job to review and amend.
Yeah, but that's then adding it back onto the fee earner to do, rather than letting the secretary do it.
We're talking a relatively short-term problem here, Howard. The last recession got rid of the almost all one-to-one fee earner secretary relationships.
Yeah.
We're
Really?
A decade or so. It did most. I said the vast majority. We're only a decade or so away from all fee earners being completely IT literate and not sending anything out.
And all being done by voice recognition anyway.
Well, voice recognition, unless they've got touch typing, which is quicker. I mean, I've got an exact contemporary of mine, a school chum, who learned touch typing when he was in his late 30s, and he can touch type quicker than he can dictate.
Really?
Yeah.
I think, Howard, there's two different things. One is that straight transcription stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a long letter and I need someone just to, because I can't type. I mean, I use voice recognition, which is great. Or you've got that moving, it's a completely different conversation, but moving secretaries onto being personal assistants. So, when I was at the bigger firm, I had a brilliant PA for many years who sort of, guessed what I wanted. And it wasn't a case of I didn't dictate very much. I just said, oh, new client, open file. Oh, we finished this, put a Bible together. And I think, you also, the conversation I used to have a lot of some of the older partners there was on going back 20 years, be careful not to be sexist here, but there were bright young women who went in to become legal secretaries who were really, really good. Those women nowadays will be the solicitors. There's more women than men going into law. So it's actually quite difficult to get those really bright people because they don't want to be secretaries, rightfully so. They want to be doing the law. So you need to differentiate between having a really skillful PA who can support you on the business and know the clients and manage your diary and actually answer the basic questions to free your time up as a fee earner to do the value added stuff, and somebody sat miles away who can just, bash out long documents.
More of the PA type individual who can save you a huge amount of time. Yes.
Yeah.